Hey guys, welcome to BACKtalk, the premier podcast from Successful Black Parenting Magazine, featuring in-depth conversation and expert insights on crucial topics for Black families. We are ranked one of the top 4 Black family podcasts on FeedSpot. I'm your host, Janice Robinson Celeste. Now, imagine if your child saw the world in a completely different and unique way. How far would you go to ensure they feel safe, understood, and embraced just as they are? On this special episode of Back Talk, we are discussing children with neurodiversities. So I want you to stay tuned and listen in.
This is Back Talk by Successful Black Parenting Magazine, the most listened to podcast for parents by parents.
Hey, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to Back Talk by Successful Black Parenting Magazine, your go-to podcast talk show for parents. Now, I need a little favor from all of you listeners out there. Go ahead, spread the word about our show. We are live, which means you can post questions under the video if you're on Facebook or YouTube, and we will answer your questions live on air, but you have to do it early. Tell your friends, shout it out to your followers, because sharing is truly caring. And don't forget to use hashtag BackTalk when you post. Now let's get into today's show, because today we have Crystal Jordan joining us, and we also will have another guest. We hope that she can make it. Her name is Esther Dillard. So I want to welcome you, Crystal, to the show. How are you?
I am doing so great, and I'm so excited to be here.
Well, thank you. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
So you guys, my name is Crystal Jordan. A little bit about me. I am an autism advocate, a children's book author, and a magazine owner, just like her, you guys. And I started my mission with advocating for my son when he was 2.
Oh, wow. Okay, 2 years old.
2 years old.
So let me ask you, what does neurodiverse mean? What does that mean? Help our audience to understand.
So it's somebody that look at the world differently from, I break it down from to how you can understand it. So it's like you can look at the world differently. Like my son may look at something and he may see something that you do not see and he do not recognize. And that's what makes autistic kids and autistic adults so beautiful and unique, because we're all different, but their minds are just different.
Okay. Now, we've heard about being on the spectrum. What does that mean?
So the spectrum is big. So for me, my son, he has a higher support need. You'll never hear me say low support, low functioning or high functioning, because I think it's very offensive to people on the spectrum when you say one's high functioning, one's low functioning. That's used for insurance purposes, if you want to be very clear about that. So
Okay.
my son has a higher support need. He needs a lot of hand-over-hand assistance. He cannot write. He's nonverbal, non-speaking also. And so that's the spectrum, y'all. You can be on this point and somebody cannot realize you're autistic, and somebody can actually say, you're nonverbal, so are you autistic? So that's how I look at the spectrum. Like myself, I have not been officially diagnosed yet. Based on the test that I have been taking, I'm high functioning. But like I said, I have less support needs versus somebody who needs more assistance.
Okay. Well, I have a grandson who's now 5 years old. He's on the spectrum. When he was 3, he was nonverbal. He's very verbal now. Well, I won't say very verbal because he'll speak to who he wants to speak to. But he's like, he has that brilliance where he taught himself to read it too. We don't know how he did, but he did. He can read anything. He's looking up now on Wikipedia all the continents at 5 years old, telling me about the continents. He's like a little genius, and I'm always like, my mouth is always hitting the floor. So there are the spectrum is wide, and they can actually be on one part of the spectrum at one age and then at a different part at another age. And then they can also grow where they're high functioning and people won't even know that they were ever diagnosed. So there's definitely a wide range, like you said.
The range is so big, and I have met so many autistic people and kids on different parts of the spectrum. I just know what my son is, and I'm pushing him to get to a higher level. But right now, My focus is, can he write? Can he do the basic skills that he needs to thrive and be independent?
Right. And that's the thing all the parents want. Every parent wants to make sure that their child can grow and be independent. Now, you said that you knew when your child was 2 years old.
Okay, so he was diagnosed at 2, but before he was 2, his doctor, I love her. She told me at 8 months, but she couldn't officially diagnose him. She just had my son doctor. She's a Black doctor. I was very serious about my son having a doctor that looked like him. His first doctor was Indian, and I immediately told them I have nothing against her. I need him to have a Black African American doctor. And my son's father was like, it's not that serious. Yes, it is. I have a Black boy. I don't want to go to nobody else. And when he was 8 months, he been going to her since he was 3 days old. So when he was 8 months, she said it to me because she has a son that's autistic. Her son now should be 19, and she saw the markers. I ignored her because I was like, she don't know what she's talking about. So then fast forward a year, I started to notice my son not hitting the milestones, and I started to pay attention. And also my best friend, she kept telling me, I think your son's autistic. And my son's godmother said it too. I was like, I don't think so. But we ended up taking this test. I can't say the name of the test. And all his markers came back. He was autistic. And in May, I went into my son's doctor office. I walked in. She did not take walk-ins. And I wanted to have her write him a prescription to be officially diagnosed. And in that moment, she said, I don't take walk-ins, but I knew in that moment you was ready to accept it.
Wow. And let's talk about acceptance a little bit. Like, how hard is it when a parent hears that diagnosis, especially parents that are in denial, right? So I also had a special needs brother, and he had brain damage at birth, so it was a totally different type of thing. But we didn't know he had brain damage at birth. It came back later. We found out the hospital was negligent because of a nurse who was a whistleblower. And my father was in denial about what my brother would be able to do and not be able to do. And it was like, he'll just be fine. Just leave him alone. So that's one, range of denial. But is denial a thing? And then how do you come to terms with that?
I think that's an amazing question. I meet so many parents, and unfortunately, I meet a lot of Black parents who are in denial, who don't want to talk about their kids being autistic or having special needs, because you have to think about the Black culture. Growing up, you used to hear the word retarded, slow buzz, the yellow buzz. So when you hear that, you don't know how to process it because you probably grew up in an environment where it wasn't accepting. And now that we're in 2024, I know it's more accepting to talk about your kid being autistic because it's a big community here to take you in, like myself. But I was in denial. When did I step out of my denial? My answer to that is going to be the craziest answer ever. When he was diagnosed in October 2019, before COVID hit, he got diagnosed on a Friday. I grieved that diagnosis for 2 days. That Monday, I was calling speech therapists. I was calling ABA therapists. I was calling people to get him the resources he needs because I knew that I was going to be his advocate. And I knew that I was his voice and I needed to push for him to be whatever he wanted to be. So I was in denial, honestly. But once I got diagnosis, my denial went out the window after 2 days.
Wow. Okay. I mean, that's really hard for a parent to hear. And then when you got the diagnosis, what was your next step? What did you do?
I took my son to the fair. I'm not lying. I took him to the fair. My best friend was with me. We took our kids to the fair, and I remember crying to my best friend, and because I didn't know what autism was. I was part of that culture, and then that Monday is when I knew it was time for me to be his advocate. Now, I didn't know what the word advocate meant, but I just knew I was his voice. I knew I had to do it. And then come COVID is when I started writing my book about autism because I didn't see books that look like my child on the market. And I seen beautiful blue-eyed kids on the cover about autism, but I didn't see Black kids besides Holly J. Robbins Peete.
I was about to mention her. Yes.
To me, she don't count because she's famous. She have a
Famous.
platform. So for me, I needed a book for him. Now, before then, I didn't call myself an advocate publicly yet because I wasn't that. I was just advocating for Zachariah. But once my book came out and people started using it as a resource, it started being in schools, teachers was calling me, I started getting interviews, being asked to talk about my book. That's when God gave me the title advocate. God gave me the title. People gave me the title.
Right.
I did not give myself the title in the beginning. I didn't think I was qualified.
Well, but let me go back. We can't discredit Holly Robinson Peete because she has a platform, because her platform gets it out there. So we got to give her grace because she put it out there. So I'm not going to discount her because I think I love her too. But I think that's important that you have a platform where people can listen. But I'm so proud of your book that you have. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Tell me about some of the significant challenges that you have faced and how these shaped your approach to your advocacy that you kind of fell into in your storytelling.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to start off by saying my son had an amazing teacher starting off. When he first got diagnosed and he got into the school system, amazing teacher. Where did the advocate side come in from me advocating people's IEPs is when my son had a first year teacher. She sent my son home with feces up his back. She sent my son home with one shoe, and she had the audacity to tell me that Zachariah stopped and turned around, but I just kept walking him to the bus. So my nonverbal child communicated to you that something was wrong, but your butt just kept walking. And you didn't look at him and see that he only had on one shoe. Between you, the teacher assistant, and not the principal, the bus driver and the bus driver assistant, 4 adults did not see this boy did not have a shoe on.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
And the feces at the back did it. And then what really what really broke the Campbell back is when she kept trying to send my son IEP a couple days before the IEP meeting. And I'm like, no, that is not right. That's not my parent right. I want the IEP before, like, this is when I started doing the research. I need my IEP this. And then when I brought the law, she got upset and she got in her feelings. Why are you in your feelings? You're here to be a teacher and be a support for my child. She said, and then I kept denying, I kept amending the IEP because it was terrible. She said, she told me I'm a difficult parent. And all the other parents just signed the paperwork. I'm so sorry. I am not signing the 19-page document, legal document, and this don't match my child.
And you don't have any, you need to have your input. And now we've had the same experience. So I'm relating to exactly to what you're saying. And that label stays with them throughout their whole school career and maybe even further. So you are right to fight. And go on with your story because I just want people to know what an IEP is, first of all. It's the individual educational profile, right? Am I saying right? IEP, right?
It's an individual educated plan.
Okay. So when I was doing in school, that's what we were calling it. So okay, so we changed it. Yep. But it's okay. Okay, that's fine. So, but the IEP is for special needs students, and it's what they need and what they need to work on, and even what they have accomplished. So this stays with them on their record. Okay. And it's very important because they say your child is violent. Guess what? They will go back to look at that if they have any problems, right? And I'm just going to tell you, they told my grandson trigger is don't take his food. Don't take his food. That's one of his triggers. And if you take his food, he's going to have a meltdown. And it was snack time, and he didn't get to finish his snack. And the teacher told the assistant take his snack, and he had the meltdown. He hit the teacher and said, "I'm going to kill you." And you can't say that in public school, right? That made a big deal. He's only in kindergarten, but he's autistic and he doesn't know any better. He just started a regular school, right? He was in a therapy type school, ABA type school. and never had a problem there with violence or anything. They wanted to put on his IEP that he was violent because he
No.
had that one incident, and they wanted to have some kind of therapy for that. And we were like, no, you guys triggered him, and that is his response. And he's going to be a big dude one day. So we know we're going to have issues if we don't, manage this and help him to manage his feelings. And that's what we're working on now. But please keep going. Tell me your story. So you had your IEP meeting. They tried to not involve you and have you sign off on it.
She involved me, but she kept trying to get me to sign it. And it was a terrible written IEP, and I have a copy of it because I keep all his documents. It was terrible. So she never sent me the final IEP. School did out in a week. I'm asking for it. The last day of school, I'm asking for it. Still haven't got it. My son started extended school year, ESY. That's what it's called in Georgia, extended school year. For him to continue to be in school and work on his goals and whatever. His extended school year teacher said, I still haven't got the IEP. She said, it's the worst IEP. I said, I already know. I'm going to amend it. And the IEP was so bad. She just came up with goals, but it wasn't directed at my child. When you do an IEP, it should be targeting that child. It should not be able to fit that teacher. It should be for that child. So then she put my child in a general ed setting. He started school that next semester, right? He had a new school. I walked in. I met the teacher. I looked at the class. I said, where's your bathroom? I said, where's your sensory things? She said, oh, this is a general ed setting. I said, oh, we're amending this IEP. I already knew it. I knew it then, and I said, I'm sorry, y'all gonna hate me. I know the Friday before school start, which is Monday, but I'm letting you guys know that this IEP is not gonna move forward. We need to amend it now. But the school in APS was already like, they knew me. They already was on it. They already knew I was gonna amend it. They knew that he was in the wrong class setting. I don't know what happened to that teacher, because when school started, she kept calling me. And he's in a different school, different teacher. She kept calling me. I don't know what happened with her. But I know, I think the school system got involved, because why is he in a general ed? Like, he can't use the bathroom. He's not potty trained. He cannot write. He's nonverbal. Where is the accommodations in his classroom? It was a boring class. It was a white wall, nothing in there. That I didn't see on trampoline. I was like, where is the stuff for him to take breaks? I knew then, but I already knew the IEP was bad. But a general ed setting, I didn't know until the day before, that Friday before school started.
Now, how old is your son, for
He's
reference?
7. When that
How
happened,
old?
he's 7.
7.
When that happened, he was 5.
Okay.
Yeah. He was 5 when that happened.
And so we had something similar where my grandson's in a general ed classroom. He's bored stiff. His last 2 notes over the past 2 days was that he's walking around the classroom and doing what he wants to do. Like, he's bored. These kids are learning 1 to 10. He can do 4 times 3. They're still learning their numbers, and you ask him, you just walk into a room randomly and be like, his name's Miles. Miles, what's 4 plus 4 plus 4? 12. That fast, and he's 5 years old. So I'm about to get him on his multiplications.
The teacher, and that's where I love teachers, but that's up to his teacher to challenge him and give him work that is going to nurture what he is right now, and meet him. That's why I love my son's teacher now. She meet my son and the other kids where they are. When I say she's amazing, she's amazing.
That is fantastic. You're very blessed to have that, because it's rare to find good help, good staff, and good people. I'm not saying his teacher is not, but I think she's overwhelmed, because public school classrooms are huge. For even when you have little kids, even having 15. She has a child in a wheelchair and has cerebral palsy. She has another autistic girl in her classroom, plus my grandson, and the rest are general ed. And so I'm like, she has nothing in her classroom for sensory, nothing. And I had asked, why wouldn't he be in a classroom that would meet his needs? And they wanted to try a general ed classroom first. And I know this boy is bored. Okay. I used to teach, I used to run a daycare center, a YMCA daycare center of 256 children. And I knew the kids that got in trouble the most were the most bored kids ever. Right. And I don't know if they were on the spectrum or not because they never were tested, but they were brilliant because they would sit in my office and I would talk to them. And I knew they were brilliant, too brilliant for that classroom. So was he walking around their board? They actually talked about in his IEP meeting putting him in the advanced classes because he is smart, but he's not there yet. So, it depends on the teacher. It really does. And you're very blessed to have that teacher that you're dealing with.
And the principal. I'm going to say this. My son's principal do not play about her autistic babies because we have at his school, they have an A unit. A unit is an autistic unit. And like in my son's class, everybody's autistic. So it's a little bit different. And we've been there 3 years. So they're so used to me. And we just had his IEP 2 weeks ago. And when I tell you, the principal said, and the whole staff said it was the best IEP meeting they ever had, because I changed my strategy with my son. He is my client, and he's my son's second. I know that may sound crazy to somebody who's watching me, but I have done the mom first. That don't work for me. So them seeing me as the advocate, then the mom,
That's perfect, actually.
It's a better experience for him because he's getting everything he needs. Like I'll check the email, I'll be like, okay, great. Like he just got a service that he should have got 2 years ago, but I advocated and they gave me some loophole, which I'm not going to really talk about because I'm not trying to get anybody in trouble because it's no such thing. And like I told,
I want to know the loophole.
Off camera, I would tell you. And I even told the staff that I feel some type of way because what if I was a parent who was not an advocate and I didn't know an advocate that can get me this loophole to get my child this service that they need? Y'all gave me this because y'all got tired of me. Why
would you tell everybody so they can't get it too? Because this is important for autistic parents.
I don't even think that I think they only created it for me because I was relentless. Like my son needs this. The data shows it. Like, let's go over data. What is the data? You tell me the data. Don't give me opinions. I'm super serious when I talk about my son. Like, show me the data. Do he not qualify for the service? They said yes. So why does he not have it? And they gave me the runaround for 2 years. This year, I changed my system, and now I'm his advocate / mom. I'm not his mom / advocate. I'm the advocate. Then I'm his mom. But I don't talk about the loophole because I don't think it's a thing. Because even my son's teacher, who's like a supervisor over his teacher, she said, I never heard of this. And I've been in the school system for a long time. I said, I never heard of it either. They only gave it to me to appease me. But my issue, like I told them, what about the parents who are not like me? That was my argument.
Right.
So they appeased me this much, but the other part of me want to know, what about the kid next to my son that need the same service?
Right.
And they didn't give me they didn't answer that question because the parents are not my clients, so it is what it is. So I'm like, I know it's not a thing. It's some loophole they created.
Right.
They got tired, to be honest. But I'll tell you off camera though.
Okay. Let me ask you as an advocate first, what do parents need to know when they go into these meetings about their child at school? What do they need to know? Like, what's the best things that's helped you? That's your book. You got a handbook? Is that yours? Oh, that's the schools.
Know your parent rights. So when they email you that parent right handbook, take time and go over it. Don't go into and make sure you know your ideal law. That was not even my book. I'm big on parents knowing their rights. Know your rights. Know what IP is. Buy books. Buy the law books. They're expensive, but I think they're worth it. One book that I'm going to say is Right Law, WRIGHT Law. They are lawyers who have a special needs kid who created a whole, I'm going to say, program to educate parents. So buy books and take time to learn. And when you get the IEP, go over it. Make sure your goals are SMART goals. Make sure your goals are not opinion-based. Make sure you have data to back up what's the baseline. So when you go in, when you advocate for your kid, make sure you know the data, and you know your rights, and know the law. Those are my 3 things.
Okay. Now, those are all important things.
Yep.
Now, I want you to tell us about Zachariah's World because you promote autism inclusion, and I want to know more about that.
So, you guys, I started Zachariah World on his birthday. His birthday is February 13th. I plan to get his whole brand to him when he's older. Zachariah World is a brand that is for autistic individuals. I'm celebrating you. I'm celebrating my son through my writing. I'm celebrating through the toys I get. I started it because I don't feel like black and brown kids are represented when in literature. I don't think we're represented enough. Like I said earlier, I love Holly J. Robbins Peete. Love it. I have her book. I love her. I love her. I met her husband. I love her. But for me, beyond her, what other books are on the market to push our black autistic kids being the main character and talking about autism? You learning about what it is and you understanding this is a great conversation starter to introduce my family to. That's why I started Zachariah World.
Okay. And what advice would you give to other parents? Especially, we have a lot of parents listening on Instagram. We have parents on YouTube right now. What practical advice would you give them to strive for more inclusive spaces with their children at home and in their community?
So I think that's an amazing question. And I love that question when people ask me that. First off, I think my first answer is start a community, start a meetup, and like let's say you have a library. See, can y'all have a sensory day there? Start small and work to new ideas. Have a autistic meetup for y'all can have play dates within your community with your kids, and see what's best for you and your community and see how y'all can include our autistic adults and kids.
Right. I think that's a great idea. I like the meetup idea. That is fantastic. And I hope you guys follow up on that because we all need support, right? It's not easy raising any child. And it's, when you have an autistic child with special needs, you want to know what works, what doesn't, what hacks might work for your child that it might not work for another child, but it's, something you can try. We had this morning, it's raining outside. My grandson's pants got wet and that that was his, he was over the sensories. He was overstimulated by the wet pants and he came right in, wanted to take his pants off. And I'm not sure that he won't do that at school. So
My
that
son today, you just brought the rain. Today, my son, it was raining. So he runs and walks to the bus. But today he went full force. He ran straight to the bus because it was raining. And me and my mama just looked at him and he just took off. And I was like, well, it is raining. I don't want to be out here either. So,
but that's a sensory thing for them. The rain falling on them, their clothes getting wet. He just wanted to get out of the wet clothes. And we had to, they weren't soaked. So we were like, we had to tell them, look, we have to go to school. It's time. We have to leave. They will magically dry. And when we said magically, he was like intrigued, like magically dry. I want to see this. So that's a little hack that we found that worked for him. It could work for some others.
I love that you said magically stop. You mean magically
dry? Yeah, and we said it will magically dry. Okay, and he was like, "Really? Okay, I'm gonna see it." Like,
I would have said the same thing. I'd have been like, magically dry. You know what? Let's find out.
Right, and that's him. So like that's why I said the meetups and things like that where you can converse with other parents. So you can know what works, what might not work, things you can just try. Because sometimes we're out here what I call fishing. We're just trying to see which things we're going to catch that work. Like with each day, you don't know what's going to be the next day, which is what makes them so special and amazing. From every day is different. Every day is different, and that's what I love about watching him be who he is. And it's amazing. My mouth, I tell you, my mouth hits the floor so many times because I'm like, what did he just say? And not every, an autistic child is verbal, but him being verbal, it's amazing what his brain is thinking and how advanced it is.
I can't wait until my son is verbal. Like, I have faith that he's going to talk one day. And I can't wait to see the verbal because he's hilarious. Like, people don't even realize when he's talking back because he's not vocally talking back. He's talking back to you. You just don't notice it. Like before my late auntie passed, she was a special needs teacher. She the one that pointed it out to me. She said, okay, she did something, and he'll talk back. She said he's talking back. And now that she's gone, I see it. He does it all the time. Like, if you tell him something he don't want to hear, and I'd be like, so he's talking back. You tell him no, he do this and he do that. I swear, I'd be like, oh my God, you're talking back. Your great auntie got you right on the head. And it'd be so hilarious.
And
but I love him to death.
And that's what makes them amazing. And they like, he's hilarious. Just like you said, the things he says sometimes are very funny. I know another person whose son is 10 and he talks in movie quotes, and they had to figure that out. Movie quotes. Like, I can't even remember what I said a few minutes ago. A lot of movie quotes from all the movies to have a whole dialogue with someone. Yes, he talks in movie quotes. It's amazing. Like, it's just intriguing.
I about to say, it's intriguing. Like, I can remember what you just said. I can remember what I said 10 minutes ago, yesterday, to my business partner. I can't remember anything. Like, that's amazing. But I think autistic people are so amazing. Once you really get to know them and pay attention, they are amazing. And back to something you said earlier that I wanted to point out. I agree with you. Certain words should not be listed on your kid's IEP, like violent, aggressive. Those words should never be on your kid's IEP. Never. Find another way to word that, because on my son IEP, we don't have that. Like, no. If I see a word, I'm like, ooh, no, we can't have that on there because it's going to follow him to college. Because I'm not sure if my son want to do post-secondary options, but I'm preparing myself if he do want to go to college, because I got to transition him to a 504, which will transition him to college. So certain words, like you said earlier, I agree with you.
Absolutely. You can't do that. Let's go back a little bit for the parents who are listening who might not have autistic children, or they may have a young child. They might be suspect that something's going on, because I'm the one that alerted my daughter that something was wrong, that he wasn't hitting his milestones, because that's what I used to do for Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. I would test children to make sure they were hitting their milestones, and I had to keep him for a week. And I was like, this is not right. Something's not going on that's supposed to go on. That's not happening. Please get them tested. And that's how. And she was in denial, and her husband was in denial. And finally, they listened and they got him tested. And I said, you need to do it now, because the earlier you get help, the more likely they'll be able to live in mainstream society as they grow older, right? So it's early intervention that's so important. So if you guys listening out there know someone or suspect that their child might be on the spectrum and they're in denial, let them know now is the time, when they're young, to get them all the therapy they need so they can live on their own when they get older, and they can be independent as possible, depending on where they are. But let's talk about what signs that parents should look for and around what age do you start to notice?
You can notice as early as 18 months. Are they answering to their name? Are they hitting their milestones? Are they lining up toys? Are they unaware of danger? What else? Another one. I have a list in my head, y'all. Are they doing repetitive stuff? Like, are they spinning around? They flapping their hands? That's another thing. One sign that my son did that the doctor noticed was him walking on his tippy toes.
I was about to say that.
He was not walking on his regular feet. He was walking on his tippy toes.
Even at like 3. So 2 years old, toddlers are fine. But once they get past that toddler stage, they're still walking on their tippy toes. That should raise some red flags. Yes.
Right. And if your child is not speaking by a certain age, that's also the biggest telltale sign. And unfortunately, boys are diagnosed more than girls.
Right.
Boys are diagnosed 4 times likely than girls. Girls are not diagnosed as higher than boys. So with girls, you have to pay closer attention, because girls are normally diagnosed later. Most women I have met was diagnosed when they was 12 or around my age, 34, 35. Me, I'm going to say 33. It just takes a lot of money to get the official diagnosis. So with girls, I want y'all to pay more attention close attention to them. Boys is like you see it, but girls is harder to see.
Yeah.
I think because girls mask
They
and
do. I've
we
seen it.
mask, and then think about it. We're seen and not heard.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that. So I want us to be very vigilant when it comes to our girls too.
Right. And I think what happens is around teenage years when they're trying to fit in at school, they don't fit in. They have this awkwardness about them. They're considered quirky or, nerdy or something, or standoffish. They're by themselves. And then that is somehow mainstreamed as, there's
She's
nothing wrong with her. She's just quirky.
or she just don't
And
talk. Or
right, right.
yeah. And and that right there is sad because a lot of girls are so every woman I have met that is autistic was diagnosed at 12 and up. I mean it's when it comes to the advocate side, I'm meeting parents who are advocates and they find their kids at 5, but that's still a late diagnosis. If you want to be honest, that's still late.
It is. It is very late. What As far as cultural awareness and representation, how does that impact autism advocacy in our community, in Black communities?
I believe if we keep seeing more faces like me talking about autism awareness, I feel like the comments like slow buzz, the R word. I don't use the R word. If you know what it is, you know what it is. I feel like with us having more conversations about this topic, we're going to normalize this conversation, and we're going to help our sisters, our brothers. We're going to help our neighbors' kids, our coworkers who are dealing with their kid being autistic. A prime example: when you see a kid in the store and you think that kid is acting out, or you think that kid is being bad, maybe they're overstimulated. Maybe they have an autistic breakdown, and all that parent need in that moment is for you to say, "Hey, how can I help you? What can I do in this moment to make it easier for you can deal with your son or daughter or loved one?"
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, I appreciate that.
Thank you.
No, this is all information that parents really, really need to know. It's so important. Let's talk about support systems. I love the meetup group idea, but what other support systems do you have, and how can we use those support systems to bridge the gaps in the system?
So the support system that I'm currently working on is going to be a nonprofit, and it's going to be for parents. I want to focus on parents because I feel like us as special needs parents, we lose ourselves. And with us losing ourselves, we don't take care of ourselves, and we can't pour from an empty cup. We can't pour from a halfway cup. We have to feed our kids from our overflow. I feed my son from our overflow. I was that parent that used to try to advocate and do everything for him on an empty cup, a halfway cup. I don't recommend that. So my support system will be next year with my nonprofit, where I'm focusing on pouring into parents. And if you don't have that, build, like I said, the meetup idea is because my village is amazing. And if you don't have a village, create a village. Like growing up, you always hear you need a village to raise a kid, but you need a village for your autistic kid, your kid with Down syndrome, your kid with cerebral palsy. You need a strong village that's going to be there, that understands, that's not going to judge you. And that's my answer to what you guys asked me.
Okay, that's good. Good answer.
Yeah.
And now, in your experience, what are some common misconceptions are out there about autism? And in your book, just like you, can help dismantle some of these, correct? Especially within our community.
So one thing that I realized when I talk about autism, people always think autism have a look. That's the phrase. Oh, he doesn't look autistic. No, my kid don't have Down syndrome. Down syndrome has a look. Autism does not have a look. That's a myth. Another myth is they don't have emotions. Like my son is so affectionate. That's also a myth. And just like you, since you brought it up, in this book right here, I have what is in the back. What is autism and signs and symptoms of autism?
That's
Um,
fantastic.
Thank you. And I also have a glossary because I use certain terms in my book. I couldn't use all of the terms I wanted to because I had to water it down. But in the back, I have a glossary for you guys. So you can talk about what I said in the book. I talk about my son's stemming in here. The reason why I say this book is a resource is because full of knowledge. Because my first book was to use to be a conversation starter. Let's say your kid was diagnosed, or you think your kid got the autism. You buy the book to learn about autism because it breaks down what it is. And then it also have resources in there. And you also gives your family for they can learn about it. Because unfortunately, in a Black brown community, everybody don't know what autism is. Like, I just had an incident a couple weeks ago with my son touching a lady doing this in the grocery store. I'm holding his hand and I'm getting him something. The lady had the nastiest attitude in this world. And I was a mom in that moment. I was not an advocate.
Yeah, I understand.
I was not an advocate in that moment because you got mad because a kid kindly touched your arm. And that's how he treat people. And I'm working on redirecting that, of course. But that is why this conversation is so important to me, because what has happened to me and my son literally 3 weeks ago.
Right. No, it happens. And it's a safety issue with our children that are on the spectrum. Same with Miles. He got off the school bus he gets off the school bus every day with 3 little girls. He's able to ride the school bus, the regular school bus. And he ran up because he sees them every day. He ran up to grab the little girl hand to walk with her. And I'm like, and she was like, why are you grabbing my hand? Kind of look. And I said, you cannot just grab anyone's hand. You can hold my hand because I'm family. You can't grab anyone, those kind of things. And I'm teaching him now not to talk to strangers because he acts like the mayor when he's walking down the street coming home from school. He's like, I pick him up off the bus. So he's like, hey, and I'm like, we cannot talk to strangers. So I had to really get on his case yesterday because he doesn't process it. Right. So I'm like, sometimes you have to get on the case. And I said, listen, and I had to just get down to, we're in Atlanta. I'm like, you can't talk to strangers. I said, see that guy? He could take you in his truck. Do you want him to take you in the truck? You never see us again. And he processed it. And so the next stranger he saw, he did not talk to him. But I had to go there, So it's a safety issue. Him trying to walk in the street instead of, I turn around because he always walks behind me a little bit where I can get to him. But he likes to look at every leaf. He'll notice everything that changed on the street from that day before to now. What's that? What's that? Why is that there? Just curiosity. So there is a safety issue. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm grandma. So I'm like, don't pick that up. That's dirty. That's dirty.
My son does that. But that's why I get my son the handicap sticker. So we got a handicap sticker because he elopes. Now he don't do it anymore. Praise the Lord. But he used to elope. When we in the parking lot, he would just run. Now he doesn't. But we that's a tip I can give parents. Kid elopes, talk to your son's doctor or your kid's doctor.
I love that.
And get a handicap sticker.
You know what? Didn't think of that at all.
Yeah, they qualify.
Fantastic information.
You're welcome.
You guys hear that? Get your handicap plaque if you have an autistic child that likes to, run off because they can get hit by a car. And that's the thing. And they can snatch that hand back, man. You can hold their hand and
my son be
strong.
But I got over it because last time he did it, it was a car coming. And I was a mom. I yelled at him. I said, don't ever do that again. And people just looking at me. And then after I calmed down, I had to break down why he couldn't do it. So since that conversation, I think he was like 5. He haven't done it, but it don't matter. We have the handicap thing for life. It's in my name because he's not 18. Now, when he turns 18, I'm not sure if he can get his own, but as of right now, it's in my name.
I probably could. Well, Crystal, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. I'm sorry Esther couldn't make it. She will be speaking at the National Black Parenting Conference that we have coming up February 2025. It's February 7th and 8th. If you haven't registered, go to blackparentingconference.com and register. It's no cost to you to attend. You can pay what you want, $0 to whatever you think it's worth, because we want parents to come. So you can go to the website, blackparentingconference.com. And it's also a banner on top of our website at successfulblackparenting.com, where we'll take you right there. Register. You're going to hear some great talks. We have some amazing people. Our keynote speakers, Dr. Meredith Anderson from the United Negro College Fund, now known as UNCF. And she's going to be talking about how great we are. We're great parents, basically, how great we are and how responsible we really are in schools, and how schools can work with us better and how you can advocate for that. Because, you always hear the stereotype, oh, your parents aren't involved in school. And just your testimony today, Crystal, shows that we are, right? We are.
Amen. I know I am. I'm at my son's school so much. When I ring the bell to get into the school, I'm like, it's Miss Jordan. But oh, just come in, Miss Jordan. That's how much I'm there.
And that's how it should be, because then they respect that and they know that you are not going to take any mess, that you're going to be there and you're going to be advocating for your child. So, and then when something comes up, they'll think of you.
Thank you so much. Yeah,
Absolutely.
they know. Like my son, quick story. I swear it's gonna be really quick.
Go ahead.
He called me one day and he had the pink eye, and I got to the school in 2 minutes. I said, you didn't pick him up. They said yes. So I got there. I rang the bell and said, we just hung up with you. How did you get here so quick, Miss Jordan? I said, honestly, I was in my car heading somewhere else, but once I heard he was sick, I just pulled up, and it was like, okay, you got here really quick. You wasn't playing. And I even asked him, I said, where you get the pink eye from? We don't have pink eye. So who in the school has a pink eye that y'all let come to? They was like, Miss Jordan, it's okay. It's okay.
They can't tell you that. That's against the rules. Well, anyway, we got to have you on the show.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can't. It's like HIPAA. You can't tell them. Yeah, it's just like COVID. You can't tell who started with COVID in school. You can't. It's like HIPAA laws. They have privacy to their medical, whatever illnesses they have. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I did not know that, because they did not tell me. And I was like, so he just randomly got the pink eye. And wow, you just told me something. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Thank you for telling me that.
And they're not supposed to tell other people that your child has autism either, because that's his private medical business. Yeah.
Well, the whole school know the A unit.
Well, that's different. I'm talking about like parents coming in. If they're working with him, then that's different. They should be part of his IEP and working with him. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's different.
I know that everybody in the school know A unit is autistic unit. So
okay.
Our school's a little bit different. So everybody knows autistic babies. They get treated so well. Like this.
Oh, that's good. That's a blessing. You're going to have to let me know what school that is too.
I will.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you again. We're running out of time, but like I said, I enjoyed talking to you today. So thank you again, Crystal.
Thank you so much.
Okay. So, and a big shout out to all of you for tuning in and engaging with us here at BACKtalk by Successful Black Parenting Magazine, the syndicated podcast that's a must for Black parents everywhere. We'll be back next Thursday live, where we will be talking about incarcerated parents. That's a new one. We haven't had that topic at all. And it's going to be a great show too. So tell a friend to tell a friend and join us. Don't forget, go to our website at successfulblackparenting.com. Also, look at the top. There's a banner that will take you to the National Black Parenting Conference happening in February. It's online. The first 3 will be online. Then we're taking it on the road, guys. So we need you to participate. We already have enough speakers. We need sponsors. If your job wants to sponsor something that has engaged Black parents, this is the one. This is the one you want to do. And be sure to follow us on social media. Click everything, anything from follows, likes, ads. The more you engage, the more we all can thrive, right? We can help you. So help us help you. And until next time, I wish you all the best and much success. So take care and thanks for listening, everyone. Oops, hold on. And my fingers are...
Thanks for tuning in to BACKtalk by Successful Black Parenting Magazine. We'll see you soon.